Hi, my name is Dale Johnson. I'm a senior at Hampden-Sydney College, and today I will be discussing the Battle of Guandu. The Battle of Guandu was a battle that took place in the northeastern part of present-day Zhongmu County in Henan, China. This battle was fought from March to November during the year 200 AD between warlords Kakao and Yang Xiao during the Three Kingdoms War period. Now, the Three Kingdoms War period was a period in history when there were three regimes, which were the Wei regime, the Shu regime, and the Wu regime. Wei was the group that came into the picture when Kakao was victorious in the battle, and they replaced the Eastern Han dynasty. The strength of Kakao's army was around 40,000 troops. This was very small compared to that of Yang Xiao's army, which consisted of 110,000 troops. The battle was a result of tensions between the two sectors of the regime and the driving motivation both Kakao and Yang Xiao had in ruling territories in China. Guandu was also a very strategically important place that was on the radar for both of the leaders to acquire as a necessary territory. The war initially started because Yang Xiao was persuaded by Lei Bui, who was the king of Shun Han, and claimed the title of Emperor of the Han Dynasty, to attack the imperial capital of Zhuchang to overthrow the tyrannical regent Kakao. This suggestion was made easier due to the fact that Yang Xiao was about to begin his southern expedition against Kakao in an attempt to conquer that land. Yang Xiao had already conquered the north, so he was eager to move south. For this assignment, I will explain the Battle of Guandu in an attempt to give the audience a better understanding of this important war. Okay, so the battle that's being focused on was started when Yang Xiao led his men into the capital city of Zhuchang to attack Kakao's men. Kakao's response to this was to defend the capital city by constructing a forward defense line. This continued on for months as Yang Xiao attempted more seizures of Kakao's capital city. These were mainly consisting of small organized attacks, and Kakao was deemed the victorian as a result of the war due to incredibly superior strategy he employed of attacking Yang Xiao's supply bases. By attacking the supply bases, Yang Xiao's army was unable to receive the necessary supplies that they needed, such as ammunition and food and weapons and other essential things that armies need during war times. From this strategy being implemented by Kakao, although his army soldiers' numbers were less and the experience level was lower, they were able to defeat the malnourished army of Yang Xiao. Surprise attacks employed by Kakao also aided in the overall success of the war. The significance of this battle is that the creation of the state of Cao was the final result of the war. Another significant part of this war was it showed to others that defeat could come to powerful armies by weaker opponents. This related to some of the information that was reviewed in the class lectures regarding the idea that when supply chains are limited, the power of the army in which it affects begins to slowly crumble. Without supplies, the army is not as effective as they may be when they do have the necessary supplies. Starving the opposition is a relatively useful tactic to allow an army to achieve success over their opponent, and seen in many situations regarding wartime combat, not just in the Battle of Guandu. I would also like to talk about how the texts have been discussed in class, such as Max Boot's text or Archer Jones's text, and their relevance to the study of the Battle of Guandu. Although Boot describes the innovations and advancements that emerged well after the Battle of Guandu, the elements he discusses are relevant in understanding the aspects of war. He provides insight to the audience on the tactics employed, new developments, as well as new strategies implemented that allowed armies to adapt and become successful in their overall conquest to successfully defeat their oppositions. He shows how different methods sort of evolved into what they are seen as in later periods of war through processes of actual fighting and making improvements through almost like a trial and error process. When looking at Jones's text, the audience notices how he provides key information that aids in the understanding of combat and tactics of warfare that developed over time, similar to the information that Boot provides. By describing the evolution of these tactics of resistance that armies strive to develop stronger and stronger, the audience can see where he too believes that such changes arose from trial and error strategy and allowed things regarding wartime combat to develop over time through armies realizing what worked, what didn't work, and how they can overall be improved so that they can achieve success. I would also like to touch on some important themes associated with this battle. Some of the key themes include tactics, weaponry, formation, leadership, and strategy, all of which are themes we have discussed throughout lecture and learned from Boots and Jones. This battle helps us also to understand key principles of war. By the strong tactics implemented by Kakao's small and less powerful army, they were still able to defeat Yang Xiao's army due to Kakao's crucial leadership role and the plan of attack strategy to conquer them. By Kakao's plan to attack the enemy where it hurts the most and starve them of supplies, they were able to weaken them and catch them off guard throughout various attacks to achieve victory. Based on previous studies and lectures, this method is holding to be very effective for one army to achieve success over the other. I would like to conclude this video by saying thank you for viewing it. I hope that you now have a better understanding of the Battle of Guandu and its significance as well as relevance to the study of wartime conflicts throughout history. I hope that from this study you can also see how this battle relates to our focus of the class, the lectures, and key texts like Boot and Jones. Hopefully as an audience you were left with some important questions of your own regarding how we can learn from reviewing instances in history such as the Battle of Guandu. Thank you.